WWE Steal an AEW Deal, no plans for AJ Styles, my review of Monday Night Raw, and more. I'm Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive videos over on our Patreon.
We kick off today's WrestleTalk News with Logan Paul and his ongoing feud with Kevin Nash. While the two have had their online back and forths, it's now time for the real people with real thoughts to get involved. Former wrestling stars who now have podcasts. Eric Bischoff has waded into the discussion, and former WWE Bump host Matt Kemp has now given his thoughts on the matter, revealing that maybe Logan has some kind of reputation. I've heard good, I've heard bad. I heard from a longtime veteran who couldn't stand working with Logan Paul. Didn't like how he treated people. Camp adds that he himself never saw this when he dealt with Logan Paul, but feels that some wrestlers are happy to work with Paul as it puts a spotlight on them they wouldn't have without him, while others feel they have to carry Logan Paul to good matches. But even on that, Matt Camp believes that WWE have asked Logan Paul to not do more in the ring than he currently does. As for other backstage heat in WWE, like the various lawsuits Logan Paul is involved in, Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful Select noted, "We've not been given any comment anytime we've ever asked about this. They don't comment on lawsuits they're involved in, so it's not a surprise to see them pass on this as well." Speaking of Fightful Select, an SRS was also asked by a Patreon backer why AJ Styles hasn't been featured prominently on TV since his loss to Cody Rhodes at Clash of the Castle back in June, as some were speculating that or maybe he's injured. Sean Ross Sapp has revealed, however, that AJ Styles is fit and healthy, he just isn't being used on WWE TV. SRS notes that Styles worked the European tour in matches against Rhodes and also did some dates in Japan. I actually made a joke in yesterday's WrestleTalk News about the fan reaction to Megan Thee Stallion's theme being used for SmackDown now that it's moved back to USA Network, as there was some fan backlash online for WWE using a hip-hop song for a wrestling theme. Come on now, have we all forgotten the greatness that is WWF aggression? Well, it turns out this song might only be being used because AEW were planning on working with Megan Thee Stallion. According to PW Insider, Megan and AEW's Mercedes Moné met back in February at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards and began conversations about working together. Moné talked about this publicly while promoting All In and even hinted that one of the plans was Megan Thee Stallion getting in an AEW ring for a match. And it was only after Moné went public and the two agreed to do something together that WWE made a deal with the artist about using her song Never Play for SmackDown. PW Insider write this caught the Moné circle by surprise. They add whether this means the end of any potential Moné-Stallion alliance remains to be seen, but obviously the WWE deal didn't help. Now Pete Quinnell may have set sails from these fair WrestleTalk shores, but he's still a part of the Monday Night War, which is airing exclusively over on Patreon. The next episode is now live at patreon.com/WrestleTalk, and you can watch a clip of it right now.
Oh, it's a self-promo. It's
three pop for, I think it's the same person.
It's not, it was the other lad. Getting goose eggs.
That was the joke.
Oh,
same person.
Sorry, I see.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good joke.
Yeah,
do you want to do it again and we'll let it out?
Yeah, sure. I think that's actually the same person, right?
Such a good joke.
And now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka the "You Can't Keep Me Away From This Show for Too Long, JK, I'm only doing this because Ollie's on holiday" edition of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. The show opened with CM Punk coming up for a promo to put over his Hell in a Cell match against Drew McIntyre. He said that he's got more matches in him than you'd think, and while he didn't come back to WWE to make friends, he did not expect to make a mortal enemy. This was never going to be over when he just touched some corners, but it also wasn't over when Drew put him in a hospital. But while he has more matches in him, he doesn't have a Hell in a Cell match in him. His sister asked him not to do this. His wife has asked him not to do this. She doesn't watch the product, Punk, come on, we all know that. Even his dog has asked him not to do this. That last one was a joke because he said the angel inside him asked him not to do this. But the devil inside, the monster inside, he wants Punk to do this. Punk cannot promise that he will kill Drew, but he can promise that he will make him bleed. He is prepared for the end of CM Punk. Is Drew prepared for the end of Drew McIntyre? Right, so this was awesome for a number of reasons. Number one, Punk's promo was so good and delivered so well, and that ties into reason number B, it did something that hasn't been done for almost 20 years. It got over the danger of the Hell in a Cell gimmick. For so long, Hell in a Cell has just been a stipulation a pay-per-view was named after, a match type. It hasn't really meant anything, but this promo made Hell in a Cell feel like something. something important, something dangerous, something that WWE only bring out when the occasion calls for it. A last resort. This was so damn good. Sheamus and Pete Dunne had a very good match, which Pete Dunne won after the referee and Sheamus got distracted by the shillelagh and Dunne hit Sheamus with a cricket bat.
Cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
Crumpets. We got the first of many backstage segments involving the Terror Twins, Jey Uso, and members of the Judgment Day, but there was no Judgment Day in this first one, but there was some New Day, as Xavier Woods asked Damian Priest, Jey, and Rhea to not get involved in his tag title match. More on that in a bit. Miz chatted with Braun Strowman, who said to beat a monster, you need a monster, and, well, Miz is no monster, and Natty Stratus beat Zoe Stark in a decent little match. They played off the finish of last week's match, and Natty scored a roll-up win. Pure Fusion Collective, more like Can't Win Collective, am I right? Nailed it. No, but really they never win. Finn Balor approached Rhea Ripley backstage and told her that Rhea split up this family because she didn't care about this family. But then he get up, dropped the bombshell when Dom was torn between Liv and Rhea. It was Balor who told Dom to choose Liv. Without him in his ear, perhaps Dom might have stuck around with Rhea Ripley. It was a big reveal and well placed in this promo and could signal a potential that Dom and Rhea could reunite down the line. Jey Uso walked up to see if Rhea was okay like Kevin Owens did in that one video, and Balor said that Jey was out of Rhea's league. I mean, but in all fairness, we all are. He also said that Jey should perhaps focus on his pursuit of the Intercontinental Championship, which Rhea Ripley actually agreed with. So Jey came out for a promo with Bron Breakker, and Bron pointed out that Jey has been in WWE for 14 years and has never won a singles title, while Bron has been there for 6 months and is already the IC champ. Not only that, but he did it without his father and uncle, and Jey has only won titles because of his family. Jey got in a dig about Bron's NFL career. Football? Nobody understands football. You've got to know what a meatloaf is to understand football. And Jey speared Bron out of his boots to stand tall. In a battle of days, it was Judgment taking on New for the tag titles, which, because of the ad breaks, felt like Judgment Day got in zero offense as all of their heat came during the commercial break. It had a great finish though, where the LWO cut off the rest of Judgment Day interfering, and Kofi took them all out with a dive, which distracted the referee, who then missed Xavier Woods getting the visual pin. By the time the referee sorted himself out, Balor hit the coup de grace for the win. Woods was very upset with Kofi after the match and shouted at him backstage because Kofi made a plan with the LWO to run off interference, but did not tell Woods again. Woods said that they never needed help before, and Kofi replied, well, we had E back then. Now it's just us. And Woods focused on the just us bit of that, furthering his frustrations with his tag partner. I loved all of this, but not as much as I love Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. Right, okay, so in order, they broke the top rope, Reed threw a fan at Braun cross-bodied Reed through the barricade and body checked him over some crates. Reed did a standing tsunami through a table backstage and both men fell through a wall. This was awesome, 5 stars, 10 out of 10, no notes. I hope they never stop brawling. Sammy came out for a promo to drive a wedge between Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther, stop trying to break up Imperium, but Kaiser laid Sammy out to set up a match for next week, and Gunther denied Sammy's shot at the title again. Sammy laid out Kaiser with a haluva kick to set up that match for next week. Bianca Belair and Io Sky subbing in for Kairi Sane had a great match that made me say out loud, why isn't this the world title picture? Belair reversed the moonsault into a KOD, but Sky reversed that into a small package for the win. A great match this was. Liv called Damian Priest a loser before his match with Dominic Mysterio, and the rest of Judgment Day threatened Ilya Dragunov backstage. There was also a video promo for American Made, who are hard to take seriously when they've never won anything. Apart from that one match, of course, don't correct me in the comments. And the main event saw Damian Priest dominate Dominic Mysterio and overcome interference from the rest of Judgment Day for a very easy win. Rhea also brawled with Liv, but the numbers game did eventually get on top of Priest after the match, and Bron Breakker stopped Jey Uso's help. Judgment Day stood tall to round off the show, which was a great episode of Monday Night Raw. Good wrestling, good angles, great promos, and good build for the pay-per-view. Huge, huge thumbs up. Head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to watch the latest episode of Monday Night War, The Last Chance. And if you haven't already, you can see the Draft Day episode for free on YouTube right now. It's right there on screen, in fact. Go and give it a click.